So let's start with the sampling of participants. What is sample and what is population that we use for our studies and research methods? Let's start with sample and population. There are many students who get confused between they don't know the difference between sample and population. So here is the difference. I'll explain by giving an example here. Now let's say I'm a researcher and I want to do a study on mothers who have small babies and they want to buy diapers for their babies. Now when they want to buy diapers for their babies, I want to know that what do you think about the diapers, how the diapers should be, the softness, anti-rash free, or how the fragrance of the diapers should be like. So these are the questions that I have for these mothers. Now my participants are who? Who is my population here? Who is my targeted population? Obviously not the fathers. I mean, of course, the fathers also change the diapers. No stereotyping. But still, let's just target mothers for now, for the time being. So mothers, newly mothers are the target audience here. Now, in my country or all over the world, every lady who has a newborn baby, who needs a diaper for their baby, are the targeted population for my study. So these people who are eligible to the criteria of my study is the population. Now, practically speaking, taking all the new mothers who have newborn babies or small babies who use diaper, they cannot be a part of my study. That means I would need millions and billions of these ladies in my study to make them my sample of the study, to make the participants of my study, which is not at all possible, obviously. So this is my population. In this, all the adolescents, all the children, all the old people who do not have kids, who do not want kids, or fathers who are away from home, and so on, are not the ones who come into the eligibility criteria. So they are not under the population at all. So the population is only the one that meets the eligibility criteria. Now, what is the sample? Out of all this population of mothers, that is millions of mothers who are there, I cannot take millions of people as participants in my study. I pick out a few from this population. The ones who are actually participating in my study, who are actually a part of my study, is called a sample. So this is the difference between sample and population. Many students make a confusion. They think population is the world population, whole country population. It is not that. Population are those people who are fall into the eligibility criteria, and sample is out of that population. Anybody who is actually participating in my study is called as sample. So let's do the types of sampling. How do we pick up the participants? How we pick up the sample for our study? So the first is opportunity sampling. What is opportunity sampling? Again, coming to the example to make you understand better. For example, I am a researcher and I am looking for the study, the ladies, housewives, that how do they feel, and what work they do, how do they spend their free time, or what do they do at home, and things like that I want to study. So I'm sitting right now at home and I want to do this study right away. So I just step out of my apartment, and in my apartment there are, say, 200 flats, and I just go out, and it's during daytime. Most likely working women are out in the office working, and housewives are generally at their house, or maybe they're roaming around in the park or something. So I go out and I see that there are few ladies. So whosoever I come across, I request them to be a part of my study. So this way, whosoever is coming across my way is the opportunity sampling. I am getting the opportunity to make them a part of my study. Or another example, I want to do a study on teachers. Okay, so I'm not randomly going to any teachers. Through my contacts, I'm randomly picking up few teachers whom I already know. I have their contact details and I know them from my past over the years. Maybe they were my colleagues or something. So I just call them and ask them if they can be a part of my study. Here, since I knew them, they are in touch with me, I had their contact, I call them for my study. This is called an opportunity sampling, where I am getting an opportunity to make them a part of my study. The second is random sampling. It means randomly picking up the participants from the population and make them our sample in the study. For example, I am a researcher and I go to this school. I want to study some students. I need to understand the psychology of some students. So I go to the school and there are a lot of students, say 500 students are there in this school. Now, every student here has an equal chance of getting selected for my study. So in this, I randomly, what do? I make a chit, and on the paper I write their name, and all the papers are, put it in a big bowl, and I shuffle that big bowl, and from that I just pick up 10 or maybe say 50 participants I pick up 50 chits from that bowl. So whatever chit comes in, whosoever name comes in, that becomes the participant of my study. Now here the population was who? The population was this full school was there. Every student is the population there. I want to study this school student only. And who becomes my sample? Whosoever name comes from that chit, from that big bowl. That is the sample. Now in that bowl, there are around 500 students' names are there, chits are there, and every student has an equal chance of being a part of my study. When every person has an equal chance and they're randomly selected out of that, that is called random sampling. What is volunteer sampling? Volunteer sampling, or it is also called as self-selecting sampling. How this is done? Again, explain with the help of an example. For example, I go to the school and classes are going on. I cannot disturb the students because classes are going on. So I just, take a paper and write that I am conducting a research. Anybody who is free in so-and-so lecture or class, please come to the lab. I want to do a study. So I put this paper on the board, the main billboard. And all the students, when they see, some of them, they think that, wow, I want to become a participant in this study. I want to participate in this study. So they come to my study. They are the self-selected participants. These are the volunteer sampling. The ones who have willingly come to participate in my study, themselves come to participate in my study, are called the volunteer sampling. Now let's do the advantages and disadvantages of both the things. So the first is opportunity sampling. The advantage of opportunity sampling is that it's very easy. It is very convenient. Whosoever comes my way, I can make them my sample. It's very easy. So the moment I step out of my house, whosoever I see in my apartment, I say, hey, can you please be, participate in my study? Can you be a part of my study? I request them, and if they agree, they become a part of my study. So that is, of course, if they are meeting the eligibility criteria. So now this is very convenient. I don't have to wait. There are no delays, and very quickly I get the participants. That is the best thing about opportunity sampling. The weakness or disadvantage of opportunity sampling is that it is not a very strong or a genuine sample, because I'm stepping out of my place, out of my house or my flat apartment, and I see people whosoever are around there. Maybe they have something in common, and I am not taking participants from randomly from different places. So they have something. This is a biasness of sample that I'm getting here, which is not very great or reliable for my study. So opportunity sampling, I'm getting only people that are, who are coming, who might be unrepresentative of the general population, because this sample that I'm getting is not from a bigger population. It is somewhere from the very specific part of the population. So it becomes very unbiased. It is not a true representative. So that is why that is the disadvantage of opportunity sampling. What is the advantages and disadvantages of volunteer sampling? The advantages of volunteer sampling is that these people, participants, are themselves willingly come to my study, to participate in my study. Since they are themselves initiating, they are themselves willingly coming to my study, they are less likely to drop out or leave the study and go. So attrition rate is very low in this, which is a very good thing for my study. So that's the advantage. But the disadvantage is, again, the sample is very biased, because let's say I give an example where I have put a billboard on the billboard, the paper that anybody who is free on so and so period, please come to the lab and be a part of my study. So I've put this, and all the students come and they see that, oh, study is happening, the researcher wants some participants, so let's go. So maybe I get a very biased sample. All the students who want to bunk classes can come to my study. All the ones who have free period during that very time can be the sample of my study. Maybe those were all art students who became the part of my study, or all commerce students, or all medical students, or anybody who is bunking, or anybody who is just extrovert and just want to have some fun. They are the ones who are actually coming to my study. So I am not getting a true representative, a random big selection, or a big very representative sample from the population, which is not a very good thing for my study. So when I get a biased kind of a sample through this volunteer sampling, that becomes a problem. So that is the biggest disadvantage of volunteer sampling. Is random sampling. What is the advantage of random sampling? Means it is the best sampling because I am randomly taking sample from the population. So I gave an example of mothers of newborn babies who want diapers. So I just now gave an example here. Now in this random sampling, what is there? There are like millions of mothers who are there, and I randomly select from each country or each state, or from different cities, from different localities and different age or something like that. So when I randomly select from the bigger population, I get a good sample. The quality of the sample is really good because it is widely spread from the population. So that is the advantage. But the disadvantage is it is very difficult to get this good quality of sample. I have to convince them, I have to call them, I have to maybe buy them a ticket. No, that will be very expensive for me, but yeah, some researchers might be doing that. So I have to spend a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of money maybe to get this good quality sample. So it is just very difficult to get a random sample, but it is one of the best sampling techniques. So we are done with what are samples and what is population and what are the sampling techniques. Here I have put up some nice practice questions for you all. Please try doing that and write your answers in the comments below if you want me to correct it for you. If they are wrong, I'll correct it for you. If they're right, heads up. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.